"2025 marks the 70th anniversary of the television show The Adventures of Robin Hood, starring Richard Green. You can hear an in-depth discussion of the show on episode 27 of Into the Greenwood. It is genuinely one of my favorite episodes we have ever done. To celebrate the 70th anniversary, we'll be releasing a few of these sort of mini reviews of various episodes alongside several friends of the show throughout the rest of 2025. I hope you enjoy these little jaunts into the Sherwood Forest of yesteryear.
Robin Hood, riding through the glen. Robin Hood, with his band of men.
So, we are back with our celebration for the 70th anniversary of The Adventures of Robin Hood from 1955, and because it is October, we thought we'd get into the spooky season spirit. Mike Nichols is back to join us for the watching of an episode that is also very special to him, much like the ones that we covered before on the first part of this sort of mini-series, celebrating the 70th anniversary of the show. This episode is the Thorkil Ghost. And I have to say, wow, like this is an episode that could be a whole movie. They pack more than I have seen in some like suspense and action movies tightly within 25 minutes in terms of the amount of plot, the amount of character development, just the layer of things going on, which means it is moving the whole time.
Yeah, I love this episode. This is one that I grew up with. Our family had a couple of the Adventures of Robin Hood episodes on VHS, and it was like, I think 4 episodes per VHS.
Yeah.
And this was one of them.
The Youthful Menace
kid,
that you mentioned was one of the other ones, which is one of the reasons why we covered that on part 1 of this miniseries.
Yeah, exactly. And this one always actually scared me a little bit as a kid. Certain scenes where the ghost quote appears, and all of a sudden the music just like spikes in volume and spooky intensity. Like I was always like, oh, and like it was also scary because the ghost felt like a real threat to these characters appearing. The characters are scared too, and all of a sudden an axe is getting thrown. Harold screams at the end as the ghost is menacingly moving slowly towards him in the torture chamber. This is definitely a good spooky episode. There's so many nice little Halloween tropes of like the hunchback and the black cat and the murder, like, you know,
and the devil riding abroad, on All Hallows Eve in the form of a woodsman.
Yeah, I feel like there's lots of good Robin Hood, like mystical, spooky stuff. Like Robin of Sherwood has a lot of episodes that are perfect for a good Halloween rewatch. Even the BBC, there's like a couple episodes that deal with like quote witchcraft, where dunking and diving in the Robin Hood BBC show. But yeah, for as far as the Adventures of Robin Hood serial from the 50s go, this is like just a perfect Halloween episode.
Yeah, for all of the moments of suspense that are in this episode, because they had to fit it all within 25 minutes, it means it moves very fast. If this was paced out for a movie, all of these moments of suspense would be like played out a good like 5 times longer than they are. So it's like they're really suspenseful moments, but they have to move on real quickly so they don't linger on any of them. So the suspense never doesn't like build up to a huge intensity, but they highlight what they have really well with, as you were saying, with the way that they utilize the music. When Robin swings into action, they incorporate his leitmotif to get that shift in tone. It's absolutely beautiful. I've seen this episode before, and I remembered the broad strokes of the plot, but I had forgotten that it did actually happen on All Hallows Eve, and that they really embraced that and worked it into part of the plot.
Yeah. To your point, did it almost feel a little bit like a more mature Spooky Doo or Scooby Doo type episode where it's the characters are trying to solve a mystery of a ghost in a castle and like the whodunnit?
It's very Scooby Doo without the like yoinks element.
Yeah. Or even like a one shot a little. I'm like, this would almost be like a perfect one shot, if you're doing like a 5e or D&D campaign or a Robin Hood RPG campaign. This is a great
Hmm.
one shot. The
Oh yeah.
Halloween Robin Hood one shot.
Yeah, especially because it brings in a number of characters. It's not just Robin.
Hmm.
He's got a little band of merry men with him and
Yeah,
who are all working together and all.
right.
Not
And
none of
Marion has her own.
yeah.
Marion's like kind of more the detective while they're like the ghost hunters, sort of.
Hmm. Yeah, so you want to give us a quick rundown about what this episode is about? So,
Yeah, for sure.
spoilers from here on
So
out.
yeah, spoilers. So the Thorkil Ghost is a very, very Halloween-centric episode. Robin and Marion and the Merry Men run into this young nobleman named Harold who has fled from his castle in fear of this Thorkil Ghost that has apparently murdered his father. There's a secret of a Viking treasure hidden in the castle, and he feels like the ghosts murdered his father to find out the secret. And then the coroner even said, "Oh yeah, we believe a ghost killed your father." And that night, the ghost appeared.
Death by ghost is what
Yeah,
it says on the
death.
coroner's record.
Yeah. And then the ghost appears before him that night with the bloody axe and is like, if you ever reveal the secret, I'll kill you like I killed your father. So Harold is run away in fear. Robin and the Merry Men and Marion all suspect like perhaps there's more to this than just a ghost. As Robin puts it, if someone is using superstition for their own evil purposes. So they decide to go back to the castle with him and pretending to be yeomen. They go back to the castle, and while Marion kind of plays the detective to figure out what could be going on here with the characters of the castle, Elsbeth, the aunt, who's the lady of the castle, and then her, shall we say, henchman Edmund,
Mhm.
Robin and the gang follow the castle servant Bodo, who's an abused mute and deaf hunchback, and they kind of are led through the mysterious castle passageways and secret entrances to try to discover what's this ghost really all about while the ghost is chasing them and they're also kind of chasing the ghost. And so that's kind of the premise of the episode. It's a great Halloween theme. In the end, good triumphs over evil. The mystery is discovered. It was really the evil aunt and her henchmen who were behind the ghost story the whole time and dressed as the ghost. And Robin saves Edmund, and they give him the castle back.
Saves
He
Harold.
takes
Yeah.
care. Yeah, he saves Harold and saves Bodo,
Yeah, he does not
the
save
poor.
Edmund. He, in fact, kills Edmund.
Yeah, he kills Edmund, saves Harold, and also in a way saves Bodo, the poor abused servant.
Oh, very much
So,
so. Very
yeah,
much.
so Harold shares the Viking treasure, and they all have a happy Hallows Eve together.
Yeah. Viking treasure, ghosts, secret passages,
Yeah.
mysteries, and some good old fashioned wokeism as Robin helps the Merry Men get over their bigotry of interacting with the Hunchback.
Yeah, that's actually one of my favorite things in this whole series. There's this character Bodo. He's a hunchback, and he's also mute and deaf. And he explains that, or through sign language, that he was abused as a child by the Normans, and now he's disfigured. And Robin can understand the sign language this character uses because Friar Tuck has used it for their silent retreats at the Abbey, and he shows Robin so Robin can speak sign, which I'm like, oh, I love this. It's such a great way to incorporate sign into the medieval world, but also a pretty understandable reason why Friar Tuck would know it, and then why Robin would know it, because he would care about not only ways to have secret languages as an outlaw who does a lot of behind the scenes secret things, but also as a caring way to be able to connect to needy people who are, have
Mhm.
disabilities who Robin would want to help. And I'm like, I love this so much. It's
Yeah.
a great little detail.
It's a really like nice moment. And one of the things that's really so there's so much that's really great about this. One of it is like it does very little for like the plot. They're trying to jam in so much already in terms of there being this mystery, in terms of there being this suspense, and like taking the time for to even have this element of like, how do we communicate with this hunchback? Oh, let's help people get over their prejudice. Let's have, express sympathy for somebody that is disabled and treat them like like just a decent human. And in the end, it's Bodo and his knowledge that saves the day. He's the one that's
Yeah.
able to reveal that the ant is there. It's not just like oh, let's take pity on this guy. It's no, he really matters. He's the one that Robin's the one that defeats the ghost, but Bodo's the one that unravels the mystery.
Yeah, the one who literally physically cannot speak is the one whose quote voice is the biggest voice of truth to solving the case. It's
Yeah.
beautiful, beautiful irony there.
And in terms of
Um,
it also being extremely woke at the end when Harold has gotten the treasure of the Vikings and wants to share some of it with Robin and wants to also share some of it with the people from the countryside whose ancestors had been looted from by the Vikings in the first place, he's making reparations. It ends with
yeah.
a declaration for reparations.
Also, did you notice what they called the old Viking at one point? A pirate. So we have a Robin Hood pirate. We have another pirate Robin Hood thing. That's like kind of like an inside joke with our Robin Hood Discord. But yeah, we have Robin Hood technically avenging old pirate activities.
Yeah. Yo. Yeah. Where are you, Ben? At a wedding is where exactly. Otherwise, he would have joined us
Um,
today. Um,
yeah.
yeah, I mean,
Some
I feel
notes.
like it's
Oh, sorry, go
easy
ahead.
to dismiss the episode at a glance because it's an old black and white thing. It's so, charming. It's so good-natured. There is a real menace with the ghost, especially when he's like descending on Harold with this upraised axe and all. But at the same time, he's like somebody wearing a sheet with a ridiculous-looking horned helmet on. The visual is not the sort of thing that one would really come to mind these days if somebody were to say Viking Ghost, unless they were trying to look as goofy as possible.
I don't know, man. It scared me when I was a kid. I, 6-year-old Mike Nichols thought it was a very, very good costume. So, but yes, I agree. I'm not sure how strongly it's aged, but
Yeah.
you know,
Yeah, it definitely got a chuckle out of me at one point when Robin is asking Harold, like, oh, how do you know that it's like this Viking ghost is real? It's like, oh, I saw him and he had the horns on his helmet and everything.
yeah. Some
Little
things I wrote.
anachronism there.
Yeah, some things I wrote down for this episode. I'll just kind of go through them quickly. One, loved Robin's devil laugh followed by his real laugh. That's like a little comedy trope I always love where a character's doing a fake laugh. In the beginning, Robin pretends to be the devil to get these bully boys away from poor Harold. He's like, ha ha ha. And then as soon as they run away, he's like, ha ha ha. And it's like, I always love that, like the fake laugh followed by the real laugh.
I'll tell you a secret that should interest boys like you. What's that? You know tonight's All Hallows Eve. Yes? When all the evil spirits are abroad. When the devil himself appears dressed as a woodsman, with bow and quiver, hunting for souls.
Yeah, Robin pretending to be the devil around,
Yeah.
haunting the woods on All Hallows Eve to scare these bullies was really fun.
Did Harold's look, like the costume, did he give Hamlet vibes to you at all?
Oh,
Like
very
that?
much so. Yeah.
Yeah, that was kind of fun. Which is also perfect. A son and the murdered father and a ghost. Like there's definitely some Hamlet elements there anyway. Robert tells Harold, "I knew your father in the Crusades." He says that to like almost everyone in every episode. Like Robin somehow
Whenever
knew someone's father and
whenever there
knows
needs to
everyone.
be
Yeah.
good nobles, there's like
Hmm.
a Robin knew them in the Crusades connection.
Hey everyone, Thaddeus here with just a quick aside about this idea of how Robin repeatedly talks about having met people or served with people during the Crusades throughout the run of the show. It's really important to recognize that this show was coming out in the 1950s, not long after the end of World War II. What the showmakers were really telling the audience was the equivalent of Robin saying, "This is an old army buddy of mine. This is somebody I served with overseas." It's an idea that would have had a very powerful, sentimental, tangible meaning to the audience at this time. And while we're having an aside anyway, I figured I should also toss in a little footnote here about the eponymous Thorkil of the episode. It is almost certainly a reference to Thorkil Haraldsson, mostly known as Thorkil the Tall, who was the commander of the Jomsvikings in the late 900s and early 1000s. He had multiple raids that took place in England in the early 11th century, including a besieging of Canterbury. He briefly served as a mercenary under Ethelred the Unready, but ended up defecting and joining the forces of Canute the Great. And when Canute was made King of England in 1016, Thorkil became Jarl of East Anglia. He did go back to Denmark, where he served as an earl for a short time. There were some concept he had a falling out with Canute and a reconciliation. He was the foster father of Canute's son at one point. But he also falls out of the record in 1023. And nobody really knows what happened to him after that. How he died, when he died, where he died. Whether it was in Denmark, England, or elsewhere. And the idea that he could have amassed some treasure that is somewhere in the Midlands of England is kind of not the craziest idea. And perhaps that even that's where his burial site might have been. He's a figure who poets and chroniclers talked about during his lifetime, and known for being a canny and powerful warrior. Really a great source of inspiration for them to draw from for this episode for a whole host of reasons. Thanks.
Right. That's a very strong theme that comes back a lot in this show. So many good little Halloween elements like the black cat and Hunchback, the spooky castle.
Well, and the merry men coming to the castle in the guise of like beggars out on beggars' night who do some singing in exchange for a dirge cake, which I think were like the cakes that you would give to the beggars in celebration of St. Simon and St. Jude on November 2nd. So like the day after all feast days. So it's easy to like tie into the whole All Hallows Eve thing. And very in line with the tradition that would become known today as trick-or-treating, and similar enough to have that sort of resonance, and having the merry men actually like sing for their treats. Very classic, very traditional feeling thing, and really nice of them to include.
Yeah, there's good little history tidbits here, and just kind of really fun way to kind of make that world feel more alive. It's good world building for them, this show. Also really liked the little nice visual touches as far as the mystery is played out, where characters are like, wait, look at the shadows. I just noticed the shadows changes, lights behind us, or oh, look, the candles are moving a different direction. Like, there was a lot of good perception check rolls by the merry men during this mystery. And I appreciated that world building. I did also love how much of the episode actually felt kind of scary. The sound, the way it spikes when Harold is like walking and he's like showing the merry men around, and he's like, up there is where the battle, and all of a sudden the sound boom just goes boom, the music, and we see the battle axe is missing, and then the ghost is right there throwing the axe at Marion. That part like makes you like, whoa, like suddenly,
and then it comes so close to killing her, you know. It's a real whoa kind of moment.
Now, you pointed out something to me. We were kind of like messaging each other while we were watching this, and you pointed out something about the chair that Marion's in when the axe comes. What's the story behind that chair?
I'm glad you asked. So that chair that she's in, and then you see it featured several more times in the episode. You get lots of really good looks at it. It's this very ornate wooden chair with this very distinct circular motif on the top with several roundels in the inside, which is why it's very easy to like visually spot. They use it several times throughout this show. It appears again in episode after episode. You definitely see it in Nottingham Castle at some point. You see the Sheriff of Nottingham using that chair in other episodes. It wasn't made for this show. It was made for the story of Robin. For the story of Robin Hood in 1952. It got used a lot for this show. Got used again in at least one of the Hammer Robin Hood movies in the 60s or 70s, and then used again for Robin of Sherwood, where the Sheriff of Nottingham regularly uses it. So that though, it's a set of chairs. Those chairs were used and reused for at least four different Robin Hood things over the span of 32 or more years.
You're a genius. How did you spot this? How did you find the
I
show?
can claim no credit for this. The person who runs the blog about the 1952 Story of Robin Hood movie has a whole post about those chairs and track down
Oh,
those. I'll post a link to that blog entry on this. I never noticed it. I saw his blog post, and now I can't not notice it whenever I see those chairs. But I can't
I
claim the credit myself.
I I love that blog. I've definitely spent a lot of time on that page. Wow, that's such a good find. Nice job. Good spot.
Yeah, yeah.
Ah,
It's a very fun little thing. And in this episode, it gets an axe thrown into the seat of one of them, almost
yeah.
killing Marion. Thunk.
And I love that follow-up line where it's like, okay, this big scary moment, it should make them run away and be like, okay, this thing is real, like it's trying to kill us, let's get out of here. But then Robin says, real ghosts don't throw battle axes. And I'm like, there we go. I love how this major theme of this episode is superstition versus science. It's the idea of the things we can't know, the mysterious that scares us versus no, like there are reasonable, logical, grounded answers to the things that we're looking for. We just have to stop being afraid. And even just Robin spun that, okay, let's say it's a mysterious ghost. Let's say, why does it need to throw a battle? Like a ghost doesn't need a battle axe. A man needs a battle axe. It's such a great theme to explore for a
Hmm.
spooky episode. The idea of the things that make us afraid, how do we actually defeat them?
Yeah.
I think it was advice I got where sometimes when your emotions feel overwhelming, you need to think. And when your thinking feels overwhelming, sometimes you need to feel. And I think there's a good balance that you can find there. So this was a good episode where it's obviously a spooky Halloween episode. The big core feeling of there is fear. So the episode theme is use your reasoning and think your way through your fear. That was like the perfect moment when Robin did that. Real ghosts don't throw battle axes. Great line.
And I think that theme is reinforced with his treatment of Bodo,
Bodo. Yeah.
the mute hunchback, because other people are like, oh, they're of the devil. Like I forget some of the things they say, but they're like clearly there's this superstitious element that they have where they consider them to be untrustworthy and unnatural. And Robin's behaviors know that's ridiculous. They're people, and he treats him like a person. And it's that similar, when you drill down on it, it's the same mentality of don't rely on superstition, rely on your reasoning. And reason tells you this is a human being, and so you treat him like a human being.
Yeah.
Reason tells you that the candles are blowing a certain way, therefore, there must be a secret opening this way. Reason tells you that ghosts don't throw battle axes. Reason tells you that if your father was murdered, it wasn't by a ghost. And all this
Yeah.
timing feels a little too convenient. There's a
Yeah. And
great
I love
line that I loved. I think one of the Merrymen says it when Robin's asking who's willing to come with him to the castle. I think it might be Derwent or something, and I wrote it down.
it's Derwent. Yeah.
He says, shun superstition as you would the black cat.
It's beautiful. Yeah, the writing in this episode is so strong, not just with the story, the plot, the pacing, but like even the little, the one-liners that people offer, whether it's the Black Cat line, the real ghost on their battle axe, like so many good examples of what excellent writing this show had.
It's one of the episodes that do make me wish that instead of them being like 25-minute episodes, that they were like
Yeah.
45, 50-minute episodes, because there's so much that's good here. Would be so nice if things could just be expanded a little bit more. Um,
Yeah.
but as it is, it's tight, it's fun, and
Yeah.
perfect for a little bit of spooky season Robin Hood viewing.
It's definitely one of my favorite Adventures of Robin Hood episodes. The only detractor I have that I wish they would have given us at the end, and I know they had to wrap up. I wish they would have had a final moment between Harold and the aunt. This
Mm.
kid who Robin saves him, which that part was a little goofy, where Harold's like kind of just randomly like stumbling around the chamber. I get that he's scared, but like he trips on nothing at some points walking on stairs.
He's
But at
portrayed
the
as a
end,
pretty awkward throughout, though, so it doesn't feel out of
yeah.
character.
Yeah, that's true. But at the end, when the mystery is resolved, okay, this is the murderer. This is who killed your dad. Harold, I don't even think is in frame. Like we never get a reaction shot of his face learning it's his aunt. We never get a reaction of like his like realizing, oh, this is the guy who just tried to kill me. He was the ghost the whole time. At the end, it's just Harold feasting with them happy, but it would have been nice to have seen a little maybe him overcoming the fears that his family put him under and maybe saying something to his aunt as like a "you won't make me afraid anymore," or I don't
Yeah,
know. Would
a
have
little more
there would have been a
falling action
nice,
would have been nice. A little more of the
yeah,
denouement
yeah,
for sure. You know, a little bit more development of the Edmund character who was the person impersonating the ghost.
yeah.
You know, a little more red herring over, oh no, who could
Hmm.
the ghost really possibly be? Or yeah, it's probably this
Yeah.
work.
But again, they're doing all this in like 25 minutes, so
Yeah,
they did a good job for what they had. So
they
I would
really did.
definitely place this as probably one of my top favorite episodes of this show. And if anyone's looking for a fun Halloween watch that's nice and short, but also like got a lot of great ideas jammed into it, check out the Thorkil Ghost.
Yes. Yeah. If you want something that might spook 6-year-old Mike Nichols, but probably won't scare most adults, you could do a lot worse.
Yeah, well, good stuff. Good stuff.
When strolling on All Hallows Eve, the outlaws make a merry boast to relieve a castle of its treasure and its ghost.